Number 10, persevering amidst COVID challenges. The 2020 calendar year will go down as one of the most challenging in college athletics history. The effects fully hit home in mid-March, just as the Eagles were preparing for the nationally ranked women's basketball team to play for their 7th ASUN championship in what had been forecast to be a banner year for the green and blue come the NCAA tournament. As the basketball postseason was shut down, so too was All-American swimmer Petra Hallmei's NCAA championship dreams. And quickly thereafter, all spring sports. Though the summer gave optimism that the fall might return to normal, the pandemic forced the postponement of all the program's competitions until the spring of 2021. Through it all, FGCU has worked to be as safe as possible, finding creative solutions to keep our student athletes engaged and preparing to resume competition. Some of the first events on campus came via green and blue scrimmages for a number of teams in October. And then the first sign of moving forward out of the pandemic shadow happened on November 19th, when the women's swimming and diving team was able to host the FGCU Invitational, followed by a successful, though slightly delayed, start to the basketball seasons the day before Thanksgiving. And they have already resulted in witnessing 2 big in-state rival road wins, for the men over Miami and the women at UCF. Though still daily navigating COVID-related challenges, it is with a renewed sense of optimism that a new year will witness extremely missed competitive opportunities for all the Eagles. As a department, we collectively stand proud to have come together alongside our student athletes, campus community, fans, and all who support FGCU to withstand these unprecedented times. Number 9, community service. One of the founding principles of FGCU is giving back to our community, and the Eagles continued to make volunteerism and community service a way of life in 2020 despite the challenges of the COVID pandemic. FGCU again compiled 5,000 plus hours of community service to the greater Southwest Florida area despite having to close campus early in the spring and summer. All 15 FGCU teams and staff contributed to returning in kind to the region that has so consistently backed the green and blue since its inception 20 years ago. And when we resumed school in the fall, programs still found ways to give back to the community, either in person or virtually, to maintain that connection and create a positive impact. Number 8, ASUN Hall of Fame. In October, former FGCU two-sport star Cheyenne Jenks became the 4th Eagle enshrined into the ASUN Hall of Fame. Also a volleyball stalwart for the green and blue, her election primarily was due to her All-American softball career as she joined previous Eagle honorees and contemporaries Chris Sale, Brooke Youngquist-Sweat, and softball teammate Carmen Paez Jimenez. Cheyenne is the program's all-time leader in games played, games started, at-bats, runs scored, hits, home runs, RBIs, and total bases. She is also the only Eagle to hit at least 300 in all 4 years and saved her best year for last in 2009. An All-American choice, her senior campaign featured an FGCU record .473 batting average and the nation's second-best home run total with 23. She also tied her previous year's mark with 73 RBIs, which is still an ASUN single-season record. Ranked as high as 18th in the nation, FGCU finished 47-9 in 2009 as Cheyenne was named a USA Softball Player of the Year finalist and the ASUN Player of the Year. 7. Continued academic success. Despite a spring semester which saw the traditional learning environment switch to remote learning due to the COVID-19 pandemic, FGCU saw its best ever combined grade point average of 3.46, with all 15 programs finishing the term with above a collective 3.0 GPA. This marked the 22nd consecutive semester for Eagle student athletes to finish with a higher combined GPA when compared to that of their FGCU general student population. 4 programs had their best single semester academic performance ever, with the women's tennis team posting a department best overall GPA of 3.8, marking their 3rd time accomplishing that goal. In May, 5 FGCU teams were honored with the NCAA's academic public recognition for perfect multi-year scores. Those teams were women's basketball, women's cross country, women's golf, men's and women's tennis. The Eagles once again also led the ASUN and the state of Florida with the highest percentage of sports sponsored to earn the national honor. Additionally, 12 of FGCU's programs had perfect single-year scores: men's and women's basketball, women's cross country, men's and women's golf, men's and women's soccer, softball, women's swimming and diving, men's and women's tennis, and volleyball. FGCU also had 6 programs with perfect NCAA graduation success rates: men's tennis, women's cross country, women's golf, softball, women's swimming and diving, and volleyball. Individually, the Eagles were led by a record 3 women's soccer scholar athletes being named Academic All-American in Opal Curlis, Lindsay Patton, and repeat selection Evie Papadanova, while women's basketball's Kiri Jewett-Giles joined volleyball honoree Amanda Carroll in being tabbed their ASUN Scholar Athlete of the Year. Number 6, Eagles in the pros. One of the brighter spots of 2020 was the growing number of Eagles in the pros and the continued accomplishments being produced at their respective sports' highest level, with an increasing amount of other alums finding success playing professionally throughout the states and overseas. While the 2020 Olympics were postponed, Brooke Youngquist-Sweat continues preparing alongside her beach volleyball partner, gold medalist Kerry Walsh-Jennings, for a hopeful repeat Team USA spot in the rescheduled Tokyo Games later in 2021. In Major League Baseball, while Red Sox All-Star Chris Sale underwent Tommy John surgery and is expected back on the bump sometime in 2021, former Eagle teammate Pete Woodworth completed his first season as pitching coach of the Seattle Mariners, the first FGCU player in program history to earn a spot on a Major League Baseball coaching staff. Jake Knoll was again a member of the defending World Series champion Washington Nationals. Richard Blyer initially was a reliever for the Orioles before finishing strong with the Miami Marlins, and Jacob Barnes made an appearance with the Los Angeles Angels. Additionally, former Eagle and 2019 FIFA World Cup bronze medalist Julia Rodar continues her strong play with the Swedish national team and professionally in her home country. On the men's side of the pitch, Shaq Adams became the 4th Eagle to be taken in the MLS draft this past January. He was the 54th overall pick by Nashville SC. Brandon Goodwood continues to find the opportunity in the NBA as he played his first year with his hometown Atlanta Hawks with a number of highlight games and the special honor of being the player who threw the last alley-oop lob to Vince Carter in his final season. Number 5, significant advancement successes. One of the ancillary challenges of COVID-19 has been the financial impact on athletic departments and universities throughout the country. FGCU was no stranger to these trials, yet thanks to our terrific sponsors, we were able to reinvent several fundraising events and continue to find ways to provide a high-level experience for our student athletes. Thanks to a generous and historic $1 million gift from Chris and Brianne Sale, the new Sale Family Dektronics video board at Swanson Stadium was installed in the spring and will be operational in the 2021 campaign. The Sublett Family Strength and Conditioning Center also became operational as student athletes returned to campus in the fall, and it was officially dedicated in November. To help offset the costs of protecting our student athletes from COVID-19, Night at the Nest was re-imaged as the Sustaining Flight Initiative virtual auction and fundraiser. It has generated approximately $350,000 to help offset those expenses. The initiative runs through the end of the calendar year. Additionally, the annual Eagles Club Golf Classic was split between 2 venues over 2 weeks as we were able to enjoy fellowship amidst terrific weather at our amazing courses in the area. Though it was twice the amount of work, we were able to realize revenue just as previous years. Through the extremely valued generosity of our donors, we continue finding ways to benefit our wonderful student athletes even in these unprecedented times. Number 4, Sublett Family Strength and Conditioning Center realization. When student athletes returned to campus in August, they were greeted with the newly opened and state-of-the-art Sublett Family Strength and Conditioning Center. The facility, located on the west side of Alico Arena, was the realization of a tremendously generous $1 million gift from Jim and Donna Sublett. The Sublett Center features an enhanced fitness complex that accommodates more than 100 student athletes at a given time. It spans nearly 8,800 square feet, is packed with nearly 29,000 pounds of weights. It also includes an indoor turf lane for speed training, as well as an assortment of iPads loaded with special software to display and record student-athlete workouts. The Sublette Center has been a crucial upgrade to the athletics department facility complex from both functional and recruitment standpoints, most especially during these pandemic times. It has allowed socially distanced workouts to keep our student-athletes prepared for competition. In November, FGCU held a ribbon-cutting ceremony to officially dedicate the facility and relay deep gratitude to Donna and her late husband Jim, along with members of their family and special friends. Number 3, individual success. Despite a shortened spring semester, many FGCU student-athletes realized amazing success in 2020. Though truncated in a number of instances, they were still able to showcase themselves among the nation's elite.
Just prior to the pandemic shutdown, with many former players in attendance, including Chris Sale, founding head baseball coach Dave Tillett earned his and the program's 600th victory when the Eagles shut out Kent State, a few days prior to knocking off 22nd-ranked Pepperdine in what eventually turned out to be one of the final contests of the 2019-20 year.
In swimming, Petra Hallmai was named an All-American, as well as the CCSA Swimmer of the Year. Her season was cut short just before the NCAA championship meet, where she had qualified for the 200-meter breaststroke. Most recently, she earned gold and silver medals at the Hungarian National Championships and very likely a spot on their upcoming Tokyo Olympics team. In men's golf, Alabama transfer Frankie Sappin captured headlines for the Eagles as the Minnesota Golf Association Men's Player of the Year after winning the MGA Amateur Championship, placing second in the Minnesota State Open and advancing to the round of 32 at the U.S. Amateur Championship. He also placed in the final round of 16 for the top collegiate event of the fall. With their year recognized as arguably the best in program history, with a number 24 final-ranked women's basketball team, Kiri Jewett-Giles was named an honorable mention All-American, in addition to ASUN Player and Scholar Athlete of the Year. Ty Adderley brought home Defensive Player of the Year honors, while Carl Semesko was named the league's Coach of the Year for the 10th time for leading the Eagles to a record 10th ASUN regular season title and 7th ASUN tournament championship and NCAA bid. The most recent honor, however, came just a few days ago as Coach Semesko won his 500th career game at FGCU. In his 19 years as the Eagles' founding and only coach, he has built the program into a national power, with FGCU on pace to shatter the NCAA's all-time Division I winning percentage record, potentially by the end of this year. For Carl, a word like legendary comes to mind, as he remains on pace to reach 600 career wins, faster than Hall of Famers Pat Summitt and Tara Vanderveer. He currently ranks as the third winningest active coach behind just UConn's Gino Auriemma and Baylor's Kim Mulkey. Number 2, women's basketball, the ASUN and NCAA tournament. Finishing the year ranked 24th nationally, the FGCU women's basketball team had arguably its best season in the illustrious short history of the program, finishing with a 30-3 overall record. When the COVID pandemic forced the shutdown of intercollegiate sports, the Eagles were on the verge of hosting another ASUN title game. In a unanimous vote by the league's university presidents, FGCU was declared the recipient of the ASUN's NCAA tournament automatic berth. Along the way, the Eagles captured their conference record-breaking 10th regular season title, going 15-1 in ASUN play, while the championship title marked the 7th trophy in program history. Highlighting the year were wins over national powers Notre Dame, Duke, South Dakota State, as well as in-state rivals USF and UCF. The Eagles also extended their streak of 25 or more wins for a 10th consecutive year, which only trails multiple national champions Baylor and UConn. Included in that was posting their 4th year of the past 6 with 30 or more wins, which is only equaled by the likes of South Carolina, Baylor, Notre Dame, and UConn. And finally, number 1, continued overall success as the top 1 AAA program over the last 5 years. Among all the numerous individual honors and records, and with resilient spirit during the COVID-19 pandemic, FGCU has realized tremendous success over the past year and continues to be poised no matter the challenges ahead. Normally, we would highlight all the abundant traditional accomplishments of the past year, including many for our 2020 spring and fall programs. We now look forward to seeing them back soon in action together as the college sporting world does something never attempted before, having the fall teams play alongside the spring sports starting in late January. From an overall standpoint, we stand collectively proud that FGCU was recently cited as the top 1 AAA program in the nation in terms of winning percentage over the past 5 years. This is a group that involves 100 Division I programs who do not sponsor football, including the likes of Gonzaga, Wichita State, Loyola Chicago, Pepperdine, Denver, most of the Big East and A-10 conferences. Amongst all these Division I institutions, the Eagles placed as the 19th most successful athletic department in the country, surpassing 18 different Power 5 and 5 Group of 5 programs. Even in the state of Florida, FGCU stands only behind Florida and Florida State in terms of overall success. In just 13 years at the Division I level, in addition to substantial academic and community service accomplishments, FGCU has now brought home an incredible 82 conference championships while making 38 NCAA appearances in just 9 years of being fully eligible to do so.